moving very fast, as quick as the speed of light, 3 times 10, raised to the power 8 meter per second, as discovered by Albert Einstein in his theory of relativity. Once more, this is your YouTube content creator and social media influencer, Junjun Inglesero. Okay, so to make it unique and rare, so actually you haven't found a vlog like this unless it's really prepared, right? Okay, but I don't prepared for this. I'll just try to list that in a piece of blank sheet of paper, things like that, and then automatic I will be able to vlog to you. What I mean really is not scripted what to do in front of you like that, blah blah blah, so and so. You get the point? So I don't prepare what to talk. Only I need to list and talk immediately, whatever. Okay? Because we need to build connected speech and we need to talk fluently in English. Good point. So that's our main target for this English language study or this vlogs also. It can develop our self-esteem to increase our capability in speaking on the spot, whether it is interactive way of communication or it could be a face-to-face interactive communication with live audience, right? Okay, now our topics for today, because there are two, right? First, we're gonna tackle, or this gonna be the 10 richest country, okay? Richest countries. 10 richest countries globally, internationally, all over the world. Okay, things like that. Okay, I love the words all over the world. Okay, you get the point. All over the world. Okay, like that. So the top one, richest country all over the world is, it's not familiar because I remembered last 2 years or 3 years, not 3 years. Okay, it was 2018. How much? Okay, last 4 years. Okay, 2019, 2023. Oh, okay. So when I was in Qatar, I researched also about this. State of Qatar is the number one richest country all over the world. 4 years after, it has been changed to another country. Okay, I don't know why. Okay, things like that's gonna be Luxembourg. Okay, Luxembourg. It's gonna be one of the European countries, right? Okay, Luxembourg. I'm not really that sure, but it looks like. And then, the name is familiar for the, what do you call this one? The stock market internationally. So we have a booming economy based on stock exchange, international stock exchange records, zooming the reports of Fox News, Al Jazeera, CNN, like that, because sometimes it could not be denied. I will always also watch that because I've been working for the Middle East and Gulf countries for so many years in my entire career as a chemical engineer and a safety engineer, things like that. But most of my career path really until now is occupational safety and health. Okay, every time I'll be landed to one of the Gulf countries, when I will stay or I slept in the hotel, whatever, then the news really is like that. Okay, Al Jazeera, Fox News, CNN, like that. Okay, CBS News. Okay, so it's gonna be Luxembourg. Okay, with a GDP of 141,590 US dollars. Okay, so standard monetary money will be based on American dollar or American dollars, US dollars. Okay, for the world stock exchange or gross capita or gross domestic product per capita. Okay, so this is based on average income per person in that particular country. Okay, so number two we have, as I told you a while ago, Singapore. Okay, like that. Number three we have Ireland or Ireland. I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's gonna be like that. Okay. Okay, who can pronounce this perfectly? Ireland or Ireland? Okay, Number 3. Okay. Number 4 will be Qatar. So the Qatar down a little bit to 2, 3, 4. Number 4 spot. Okay, like that. Okay. Okay. Number 5. What's gonna be the number 5 here? Okay, the number 5 will be ta-da-ding, 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 ta-da-ding. We have the Switzerland. Okay. Okay. Switzerland. No, I think it's not. It's gonna be Norway. Okay. You get the point? I wonder why. Because Norway has a small, more stable GDP. Okay. Norway. Number 6, Switzerland. But it doesn't matter. It's close only the spots, right? So this is only approximation or estimated things like that. Okay. This is only to give you an idea what particular country you'll be able to migrate in the future or to be in the immigration process. So this also will help you. Okay? So this is one of the valuable purpose also why we discuss this type of log. Okay? Switzerland. Number 7, United Arab Emirates. United Arab Emirates. Number 8, United States of America. Okay. United States of America. Okay, number 9, we have Brunei. Okay, Brunei Darussalam. Okay. Brunei Darussalam, I remember their capital city is Bandar Begawan. This is the capital city of Brunei. I memorized it when I was in high school. Okay. Number 10, we have San Marino. It looks like a tuna, right? San Marino. Or it looks like really like a fish in the inside, down the sea or underneath or deep into the sea because Marino is marine, right? So San Marino. I think this is one also of the countries in Europe. One of the countries in Europe. Okay? So, it's gonna be like that. Okay? So, to recap, the top 10 richest countries all over the world: Luxembourg, Singapore, Ireland, Qatar, Norway, Switzerland, United Arab Emirates, USA, Brunei Darussalam, San Marino. Now, I need to discuss a little bit with UAE. I have a little bit of information because I worked there from 2011 to 2013 as a safety engineer and trainer of, the main contractor of ADNOC, Abu Dhabi National Oil Company. So we are the main contractor, a Korean company, GSENC. Okay, GSENC is the construction branch for LG Technology, the same owner, because they have also, services and various line of products, not only the construction, but also for the technology, mobile phones, appliance, like that. Okay, so the same as LG. Okay, so GSE and C are just the same. You get the point? The owner is just the same. A Korean company. Things like that. Okay, now UAE. UAE, United Arab Emirates, is branded as the business nerve center of the world. Okay? So the main business lies in that particular country. That's why they have, I think if it's still true, they have the tallest 5-star hotel all over the world, if I'm not mistaken, sorry. Okay, because that's what I remembered. Okay, the tallest 5-star hotel in the world, located in United Arab Emirates. Okay, and their city is focused mainly on tourism, infrastructures, like that. Okay, and then Abu Dhabi focused on the industrialization in regards to oil and gas. Okay, so UAE is the business, business nerve center in the world. Okay, Okay, business nerve center in the world is United Arab Emirates. Now, this 10, the important is they will remain within the 10 because it's not also good you are in the 10 in 2023 and in 2024 you will be out of the 10, another country will overtake. So it's better not to be on the number 1 always or number 2 as long as you are within the top 10. That means you are highly industrialized country and class A country with a tremendous, increase of your GDP per capita or the gross national income. You get the point? Things like that. Okay, and then I need to discuss a little bit with UAE because I love UAE. Okay, the only difference there is that there's no equality of the benefits between the expats and their citizens. The same also with other Gulf countries like Kuwait, United, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Qatar. So these Gulf countries are not treating equal in benefits and remuneration to the expats and their locals. Okay, that's why this is the main reason why other expats will go to European countries. You get the point? Things like that. Because they will not have the same benefits. You get the point? So especially for the education for the sons and daughters, scholarships, healthcare services, things like that. You get the point? So I knew a lot of professionals from UAE transferred to Canada and also New Zealand, by the way. Okay, things like that because of that issue. Okay, there's no such permanent residency, only renew for something 5 years, like that, okay? No PR. Okay, so I need to explain UAE because I love UAE. This is the place in which I passed my Bush examination in safety. Okay, I stayed in a hotel and then 3 days there's a training and then after that, okay, I took the examination. I passed luckily in the Bush International Examination. Okay, things like that. Okay, I need to erase this for a while or momentarily. Well, momentarily. Okay. So momentarily or temporarily, it's just like the same with for the meantime, okay, or it's gonna be interim is the professional and advanced vocabulary for that. Interim. Oh, it's just only interim, meaning not permanent, professional, short term, like that. Or contracted only for a certain period, blah blah blah, so and so. You get the point? Okay. So, temporarily, momentarily, professionally, okay, things like that. You will use that in an adverb form also in a sentence. Okay, get the point? Okay, now I need to explain about UAE. Okay, so there are 7 Emirates in UAE. So, for example, we have Dubai, the business center. Okay. Industrial Center, which is the Abu Dhabi. Okay. So I work specifically in Abu Dhabi, not in Dubai. Since Abu Dhabi and Dubai, it looks like very near. That's why we travel to go there, things like that. Okay. Because there's a lot of tall buildings, towers, very beautiful compared to Saudi Arabia. Okay. Things like that. Number 3, we have Sharjah, okay, Fujairah, okay, then we have Ajman, okay, Ajman, okay, like that. Then we have also Ras Al Khaimah, okay, like that, Ras Al Khaimah. Number 7, we have the Al Quwain, UMM Al Quwin. So Al Quwain. So these are the 7 regions or the 7 Emirates in United Arab. Okay, UAE. Things like that. So most people working in the capital city, Dubai. Abu Dhabi. It looks like confusing. Others will say it's Dubai because it's the center of industrialization, infrastructure, tourism, a lot of businesses. But it's not. It's Abu Dhabi is their capital city. You get the point? Capital city of UAE is Abu Dhabi. Okay, things like that. Because this is the industrialized region. Industrial projects are there, construction projects are there, manufacturing plants are there, things like that, power plants and everything, chuba chu chu. Okay, so seven. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Before I come here, things like that, okay, I have also offer in Dubai. Okay, it was November 2019 because I arrived here December 10, 2019. So it looks like a little bit late in processing. But when I already arrived here, they called me things like that, and then everything is ready. Actually, okay, because I really need to go to abroad because I need to have additional earnings for my investments and savings. And also, I'm the breadwinner of the family. If I have to stay longer time, then there will be no adding, only deducting or getting the money from the bank, things like that. So it's better because we don't have business. Business doesn't run in our blood. We are not in the family history of making business. So that's the problem. So even though I have the ability and eagerness or the enthusiasm to proceed for the business, but my family, my brother, my sisters, my mother will try to obstruct me. Maybe I will be at loss, things like that, or at shortage or deficit of capital. I will be in bankruptcy or whatever. They always think negative, in which it's okay. And then until now, I did not yet I did not yet have my business. I planned a business before, which is a karaoke, a karaoke video center before, and then it was not pushed through, and then the budget for that are already also consumed because too much spending every day like that, especially if you are standby in your country of origin, blah blah blah, and especially if you're the breadwinner of the family. You get the point? Things like that. Okay, so because we are in a family of in the poverty level, we can only have enough and to have good delicious food if we will work. If we will not work, we don't have money. Things like that. That's why it's good for us to save money. Okay, get the point? Things like that, in which is the ideal thing to do. Okay, so that's UAE. Now we go to another topic: the poorest country in the world. Okay. So thanks to God, we are not in the top 10 of the poorest country. The Philippines is a little bit far. It's going to be 66. At least there are 193 countries all over the world. Okay, again, there are 193 countries all over the world. At least we are in the 66. Okay, so it's okay. Okay, and then just like elements, periodic table, there are 118 elements. So things like this, you should memorize. Okay, how many countries all over the world, how many continents all over the world, how many women all over the world, how many men all over the world, how many books all over the world circulated at the moment. So this kinds of questions really is for cognitive intelligent, highly technical and academic brain cells, rather than always watching movies and then it's your choice, but it would be better just for me to calibrate our intellectual capacity. Okay, get the point? Things like that, because we have different hobbies, inclinations like that. Maybe it's just me, I'm happy of studying and learning day by day, but others won't. Okay, things like that, because it's not easy. Okay, if you don't love, then you cannot do it. That's the first requirement. To be successful is to love first your career, your profession, or whatever. And then if you have love, you have the willingness, the eagerness, the enthusiasm. And after that, you can maintain that. You have the devotion. And after that, you have the devotion from continuous doing it. It will become your culture. And suddenly, it will become your attitude. You get the point? And once it will become an attitude, and then it will be your commitment. Okay, there's a series of abstract qualities that you should rank that in order for you to be successful. Things like that. And then until you will reach for self-discipline, perseverance, hardworking, like that, work smartly, things like that, eat smartly, like that. You get the point? Okay, so you need to build also the different abstract qualities. You can also write in the notebook, what are the different positive attributes and character or personality of individual in order for them to succeed? Things like that. Because there's a lot. You get the point, including also the virtues, like it, modesty, things like that. You get the point. To be attentive, hardworking, perseverance, to endure. Okay, whatever passion you are doing now, then if you love it, then bingo, you most likely succeed in the battle cry of your dreams. Well, battle cry. Okay, get the point? So it's gonna be like that. Okay, now we go to the poorest country. Top number one will be. So again, we need to pattern this by our technique in memorization because there's a lot. Okay, so for example, if there's a lot of topics in your examination, then you need to do the abbreviation or the acronyming. Okay, so let's say BSCM, right? BSCM. Okay, and then let's say C, then we have the D, S, D, N, M, L. Okay, you get the point. Okay, things like that. You need to memorize in that way. Okay, so excuse me for a while. I need to drink water. Water for life. Okay. Okay, mga palangga kong hitan. Okay. So, I hope you will write in the notebook also. Okay. Wait ha. Oh, I have no water. Oh, it's here. BSCMC. Or you can say also, later we can review that if there's wrong during our, detailing what is B, what is S, things like that, okay? Okay, ana good siya guys. Okay, so let's say this is 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In my studying, I will go to the most difficult terminology in which I found difficulty. For example, here, S, D, N, N, L. So it looks like, okay, this is good. It looks like the difficulty is the N. That's number 9. So N is going to be Malawi. Because it looks like strange. Malawi. Like a Marawi. Things Mindanao. So, right? And then, oh, it's going to be also difficult, right? So, S. Let's say, for example, S is number 6 na siya, no? So, X is going to be Sierra Leone. Okay? So because it's difficult, we don't know these countries before. Since we are in elementary, and even up to now, some of you also doesn't know some of these countries also. You get the point? And we have to accept the fact that these are difficult. That's why we need to have an acronyming during our memorization time. So, Sierra Leone. So letter D will be Democratic Republic of Congo. Congo is somewhere in the song, okay, in the 80s, there's a song related to that, a fast beat song. So, Democratic Republic of Congo. Okay, because it's longer, so we need to do this first. Okay, then N will be, there's a Nigeria, but it's Nigeria, it's Niger only. Okay, Niger. So, number 10 will be Liberia, right? It looks like not common. Liberia. Okay, things like that. Okay, Number one, we have the Burundi. Okay? Burundi is the poorest country all over the world. Burundi. Okay? Kuha ninyo guys. Okay. Burundi. Letter B, see? Burundi. Okay, and then Somalia. Okay. Somalia. Okay, and then we have C, Central African Republic. Number 4. Okay, Central African Republic. Okay, Central African Republic. Imagine central, but then it's poor. It looks like very good to listen, right? Central African Republic, but it's a poor country. In number 4, we have Madagascar. It's also a poor country. There's a lot of hiring there. Be careful. In Madagascar, Africa. But then, after how many months, you will be sent back to your country of origin because there's a war. Okay, you get the point. Somalia and M will be, let's say, Mombasque. Okay? You get the point? Anak siya. Okay, but if it looks very strange, you have to repeat, huh? If the words are strange, because we are not familiar to this, okay? So let's review our acronym. Okay, to make it perfect. Okay. So BSMC. Okay, BSMCN. Ang sabi siya, Burundi, Somalia, Mombasque, Central African Republic, Madagascar. Correct. Our first 5. Our 6 to 10 will be D. Okay, S, Sierra Leone, Democratic Republic of Congo, Nigeria, Malawi, and Liberia. So these are the poorest countries all over the world. So if somebody will ask, what is the poorest country all over the world in 2023? Oh, really? It's gonna be Burundi. Things like that, okay? So at least you can answer. So the gross domestic product per capita is only $237 US. Imagine, $237 US. It looks like the salary of an ordinary OFW. You get the point? Too low, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, and then for the, let's say the richest country all over the world will be the Luxembourg. Let's say, see, $141,590 US. How many times it will be multiplied? Okay, so Burundi, Somalia, Mombasque, Central African Republic, Madagascar, Sierra Leone, Democratic Republic of Congo, Nigeria, Malawi. Now, generally, I will discuss to you the most poorest countries all over the world are usually Asia and Africa. Asia and Africa. Okay, get the point. So let's discuss this. Okay, I need to erase now. Okay, Asia and Africa are having the most poorest countries all over the world. Not the America, not the Europe, things like that. You get the point? Okay, so Africa is more than Asia. You get the point? So, what are the reasons for this? Let's take a look individually. For Africa, okay, the main reason for Africa, for their poorest countries, will be, number 1, corruption. Okay, you get the point? Corruption. So, why? If there's a corruption, there's a problem for that, right? So, it's gonna be, number 2, it's there. Okay, economic instability. Okay, economic instability. Okay, Number three is the lack of infrastructures. So these are the identification or indicators that countries are belong to the poverty level or poor. So lack of infrastructures. So this is these are very important if you study international studies, okay? Because you need to extract really what's the reason, blah, 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 of their economy to go down, like that, okay? So corruption, economic instability, lack of infrastructures, and the poor access of education. Poor access of education and health care. Okay. Education and health care. Of course, if the people are dying and sickly, who will build the buildings? Who will make the businesses to grow? Things like that. And if there's no education, how can they can compete globally to become highly professional and highly innovative professionals to show to the world that they can what others did in terms of industrialization, right? The lack of infrastructures, it looks like very dry if there's no infrastructures in the city. Things like that, because if there's a lot of infrastructures, meaning there's a lot of businesses there. Because they are residing and occupying in a building for their transactions, daily basis, things like that. You get the point? And then corruption, if there's a corruption, so there's a problem with the economy of the country. The more your country will become poorer and poorer and poorer if there's a corruption. And that's the number one source of corruption. And Africa, a lot there. I mentioned Burundi, a lot there, huh? Usually, African countries are poorest in the list, in the 1 to 10. There's also Asia there, but let's review, okay? But most of it is really African countries. Okay, most of the dying children in the recent study would be in the Africa, not in the Asia. Okay, so we are now finished in Africa. The main reasons why they have the poorest countries all over the world. Okay, things like that. So I have here in Asia. We have also poorest countries in Asia, but not very worst and extreme compared to Africa. Okay. So number one is Yemen. Okay, top three poorest in Asia. Yemen. Okay. Tajikistan. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tajikistan. Not Pakistan, Tajikistan. Is this correct, guys? Please correct me if I'm wrong, huh? It's very difficult. Tajikistan, things like that. Okay, Yemen, Tajikistan. Number three, Myanmar. Okay, these are the poorest countries in Asia. Yemen, Tajikistan, and Myanmar. The reasons of their poor status of their countries is economic instability. Two main reasons only: economic instability, okay, and also political conflicts. Political conflicts. Why? If there is political conflicts, there's no healthy collaboration, partnership, and ties with other countries. Your exportation and importation of your products will be limited only to your own country because you have a very weak, professionalism in terms of, innovation, scientific research, like that, or upgrading your domestic products, things like that, agricultural products, and everything. And then there's a tendency there will be a war between one country to another country because of political issues. If there's a political conflicts, then you cannot also import your products. Well, you need to establish partnership and ties. Then it would be better that you will be open-minded, versatile, and flexible country. And if there are argumentation and any legal disputes between country to country, basing on the territorial jurisdiction in the international law and international, agreement, boundary for sea, ocean, like that, then you will be only somewhere in the middle. You get the point? To establish brilliancy and smart in your decision. Because if you try to favor too much on the other, then you will be also lost in the other area. For example, okay, you should be somewhere on the middle only. So to those who are very flexible and versatile countries, they are really the most richest country because they can always adapt to other multiracial and multi-races cultural products or whatever, agricultural products, things like that. Okay, so you know what I mean? It's very clear, right? And then if there are political conflicts, so what in their minds are really the intrusion, intrusion, or what we call this one, invasion. They try to invade another area to let them suffer and they will gain something there, and that's bad. For example, I am from the Spain and I need to have my expedition, like a voyage in a ship, and then I will go to another country and then I try to evade their evade, meaning you need to fight for a war to own that country which doesn't belong from you, things like that. That's evasion. Then the process of invading is the action verb. You get the point? So in that way you become an intruder to another country. So you are in the process of intrusion, meaning to say you create annoyance, disturbance, distraction from another country, which is that in the first place doesn't belong to you. And it's very worse if that is the case, right? It establishes really a brutal enemy. You get the point? So it looks like ferocious, right? You need to build fierce like that. You should be wild, courageous, valiant in order for you to win in the particular invasion so that you can really dispute and win to invade that country and it will become yours. For example, my country is this separate country that has freedom for 20 years, and then somebody will try to steal your land, and then you become one of the states of that country, so you don't have freedom anymore. So that's the example of invasion, like that. You get the point? Okay. So you will become an intruder from their country because you are doing thus trespassing from the jurisdiction and the boundary of that particular country, which is really good, not good. You get the point? So that kind of countries are limited in progress. Okay, very lousy and sluggish or weak to establish the growth of the economy. So these two, okay, political conflicts and economic instability. So they are, complementary with each other. So if there's conflicts with the political issues, your economics also will be related to that because you're gonna export your products, blah blah blah, so and so. You have limited clients and customers only within your locality. How can your country be rich in that manner? You're only producing the products within your country. Nakakaloka. You get the point? Things like that. You should establish international, collaboration, partnership, and ties. Okay? That's why each spokesperson from different country would represent to a summit. For example, NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, for example, Asian, APEC, like that, okay? So group of people or United Nations meeting, like leaders meeting from each country, so that your economy will be raising from poverty. Okay, because if you are too selfish, then your country will not grow. You get the point? Things like that. Okay, there's a lot also aside from Yemen, Tajikistan, and Myanmar, because there's also ranking poorest country in Asia, things like that. Okay, there's also richest country in Asia, but now we are referring the poorest and richest all over the world. Okay, so any questions so far for this? And mostly of the poor countries also, their people will migrate to work overseas. That's the one identification that the country is not stable. Okay, so you get the point. But there are also reasons also for the upliftment of their professional development career path, but it's only a little percentage. But majority of the percentage reason for that is due to the economy state of each country that suffers a lot due to poverty level. That's what I mentioned a while ago, the corruption, like that. You get the point? So poor access to education and healthcare. Then it will be also linked to the poor distribution of wealth to the citizenry of a particular country because in the first place there's corruption. How can there be having equality to the citizens of that country if there will be corruption? The rich will become rich, the poor will become more poor, things like that. You get the point? So how can we manage that? Of course, we need to have our own ability to migrate to another country. Get the point for our greener pasture. Okay, then momentarily in a country that have okay salary, whatever things like that, or good to average remuneration package. Okay, remuneration is just like the same of salary, things like that. That's another term, a more professional term of saying salary or benefits or money or fund, if you MD, or financial or finance. Okay, I love the term remuneration. Okay, and sometimes also monetary. Monetary, monetary. It has to do something talking with many matters. Let's say monetary. Again, monetary, fund, finances or financial, remuneration, salary, expenses, cash flows, things like that. Okay, these are related to your cash statements, or it could also be a declaration of your assets as well. Assets and investments. O, di ba? Okay, talking about a little bit of business and finance. Okay, things like that. Okay, any questions so far for my vlog? I hope you like it. Any questions so far? Because I will issue an erratum statement or an errata statement if there are flaws and errors in my elucidation of the facts that I presented to you a while ago, also now. Okay, so just message me or PM me in my messenger so that we can discuss. Because actually, this is not really objective. This is subjective. It depends on the surveys at that moment. What are their tools used in the research, in their surveys, but they are also having their evidences and proofs. That's why they have surveys, consensus, random sampling, like that. These are all data sampling. You get the point? You get, regarding the method for this in math is probability and statistics. Okay, you got the point. So we need to determine, oh, based on the survey, consensus, things like that. So data. Okay, data gathering based on numerical failure, like that, actual confession of the leaders of a particular country, like that. Okay, so that's why this arrived. Okay, that's why most of the results are particularly the same. Only two has been the number one, the number three, number four, but the number 10 are always the same. There's no specific arrangement for the top 10. Okay, more or less the same because it's a survey. You get the point? And most of them also are submitting their gross capital income to the United Nations. Just like the healthcare professionals or the different hospitals all over the world, Sorry. Okay, they will also submit the records of their, let's say, death records, things like that to the World Health Organization, so that they can really sum up in the entire world. And that, okay, the entire country, they will summarize that, also the records, and also in the Asia, Africa, and there's also all over the world summarize. That is the job of the World Health Organization. But since we are talking now here of the surveys, consensus, blah blah blah, so and so, these are all about United Nations, Department of Economic and Foreign Affairs, and Population Department. So the word economic is very important because we're talking richest, poorest, and population also because we're talking of the people, how many, because it has to do something with the population. If so many population, then there's also the reason it can cause poverty. But it depends on the strategy because China is very brilliant. Even though they have a higher population, but still they are good in their status in living, their citizenry or their citizens or their people. Okay, because normally also if the population is very high, if the generation of the employment opportunities are also less, so it will be also be affected. But it's never true in China. So their strategy really is strong. Despite of having a more population, they're still rich. You get the point? So their strategy is different. Maybe they are not extravagant or luxurious, things like that. You get the point? So that's another reason. And there's also enough jobs for their citizenry or citizens like that. And number one reason is no corruption. Okay, corruption, no corruption there. I think have, but only very minimal because no country doesn't have corruption. But you know, it looks like a booming country for now, and the America is very jealous. Okay, to China because China products are really migrated or transported to or exported to the US, and then most of the US citizens will buy the products of China and they will not buy their own because their own are expensive. And in terms of quality, it's almost also the same a little bit, average like that only. Even though not very quality, but at least it will last to how many years, then it's less costly. So they will also buy, right? So China is very brilliant, right? For now, they are the sleeping giant, and now they are not sleeping. They are the awakening. They are the awakened giant. Okay, you get the point? Because before that is sleeping giant. But they are moving, booming the economy. So they are now awakened giant. They are not sleeping anymore, right? And then they have also this type of mentality of being an entrepreneur. That's why I love the most with these Chinese people. And they are also very disciplined with in terms of money. They are not really extravagant. Okay, that's the main reason. Okay, because if even though you have a job, okay, then if you are extravagant, still the same. You get the point? Things like that. Okay. Any questions so far? I hope you like it. And I hope also you can subscribe my the channel. So just comment down below and then I will be happy for that. You can subscribe my the channel if you want. I will be grateful for that also. And then I'll be coming back quickly also. See you later because I'll be able to eat my dinner. I haven't finished my diet Pepsi. It's there at the top of my notebook. Oh my God. Okay, bye-bye. God bless everybody. See you later.